Moving over to Everton, Pete. Another week, another center back or two linked with Everton for this coming summer. Jarrell Konsa, maybe somebody who could make the move to Everton this summer. I know it's highly unlikely to make that move across Liverpool, but seems to be linked with a potential, ability to get more game time over at Everton.
Yeah, again, would be a very surprising move to see him cross Stanley Park from Liverpool to Everton. He's been linked with Newcastle as well for the summer transfer window. He's the second Liverpool player to be linked with Everton. We've had Ben Doak also mentioned with a possible move to Everton as well. Look, these ongoing centre-back rumours are going to carry on as long as there's speculation surrounding Jarrad Branthwaite's future at Everton. I don't see how Everton will go out and spend big money if Branthwaite ends up staying at Everton. I think it'll only happen if he leaves the club in the summer. Then they will have money to spend to bring in maybe a big name centre back. Quansah, good player, maybe had a bit mixed fortunes this season at Liverpool. Arne Slot has sort of left him out of his side on occasion with Konate and Van Dijk, the confirmed number ones, and wasn't a real good sign when he played Curtis Jones at right back ahead of Quansah as well, with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Conor Bradley both injured. So maybe there's a bit of doubt over Arne Slot on Jarrell Quansah, but I think he's under a long-term contract at Anfield. He's a homegrown player as well. Liverpool probably don't want to lose him unless it's an offer too good to turn down. So I'd be very surprised if Everton were able to get to those numbers to convince Liverpool to sell Quansah as well. And again, I think Everton will definitely probably bring in at least one centre-back in the summer window, because Michael Keane's out of contract and there's been no update on whether he's going to get a new contract. But a lot will depend, as I said, on the future of Jarrad Branthwaite. If he leaves, it boosts the transfer kitty, and he will definitely need to be replaced if Everton reluctantly do sell him.
And how about Facundo Medina, Pete? Could he be potentially a centre-back that makes more sense for Everton?
Yeah, again, another centre-back who's done very well for Lens in Liga 1 this season. Very impressive for them. Argentina international as well. And I think Lens have a few financial problems as well, as do a lot of the clubs in France right now due to the TV deals and everything else collapsing. So there might be a number of players leaving the French league this season due to those financial issues. Medina, left-sided centre-back as well, so he would tick a few boxes for Everton if Branthwaite was to leave. Can also play left-back as well, which is another area of the team that David Moyes ideally would like to strengthen in. He's probably valued around the 25 to 30 million pound mark, Medina, but there's also reported interest from the likes of Aston Villa and Newcastle in Medina, so wouldn't be a straightforward race for Everton if they were to firm up their interest in the Argentine. But I think right now all Everton's centre-back plans probably sort of revolve around Branthwaite and what happens with him. I think if he stays, they'll probably just look to bring in a centre-back as cover, because also they've got Jake O'Brien who can play at centre-back. He's been filling in at right-back and done a very good job, but ideally he is seen as a centre-back as well. So I think they're quite well stocked for centre-back options. I think only things will change if Branthwaite was to go.
I think that's the same with the whole transfer budget, isn't it? It's not just the centre-backs. I think that just probably, it's got the whole Everton transfer window in balance. If Branthwaite goes, then that's when the influx of the money is. Yep. And they're allowed then FFP, PSR to go and spend where they want to strengthen in the squad. Obviously centre-back replacing him would be key. But actually if he is to stay, then they may be tight on the FFP and PSR, as we've seen in previous windows.
And Paul, Evan Ferguson was linked over and over again this January with a move to Everton. Obviously ended up going on loan to West Ham, but should he come back on the transfer market this summer, do you think David Moyes might want to make a move for him again? We just spoke about Dominic Calvert-Lewin obviously leaving. Definitely a spot where Everton will need a striker or two this coming summer. Yeah,
he seems a David Moyes type of player to me. I think it'd be a good move for him. I think it'd be a good fit. I think, listen, it wasn't long ago, was it 2 seasons ago, we talked about Evan Ferguson as a potential £80-100 million signing. Came into the Premier League and was absolutely flying at Brighton, but since his injury, not getting back into the Brighton team. The loan this season for him at West Ham hasn't worked for whatever reason. West Ham have really struggled for a number 9 this year as a curse. I mean, Jarrod Bowen played there at the weekend against Liverpool. Obviously we know the injury to Mikel Antonio that happened to him, and obviously Evan Ferguson's gone on loan to West Ham. He's not worked, he's not played regularly, he's not been able to score the goals that he would have liked, or play as regularly as he would have liked. A fresh start under a new manager in a new place, new stadium. To me, it looks a good fit. I think David Moyes, with his man management, the way that he plays and the system that he plays with that lone striker. Listen, Beto was excellent when he first went in, but obviously he seems to have reverted to type of late. Broja played at the weekend against Nottingham Forest. I think Broja's a great player. You get him fit and you get him firing, he'll be a top player for somebody. But I think somebody like Evan Ferguson will fit that system. And with a manager like David Moyes, it's somebody that he needs. He needs a fresh start, a run of games. And to me, that looks a good fit. And I think the price that you could get him for now, compared to the price that was touted maybe 2 seasons ago, that the difference is night or day. But the person and the player's still the same. But he's just had an unlucky 2 years for whatever reason, whether it be through lack of form, injury, not being able to get in the team. For whatever reason, he's a quality young striker who will score goals, and I think him and David Moyes would be a good fit.
Yeah, I agree. I think David Moyes would really back himself to get the best out of Evan Ferguson again, and maybe somebody like Moyes would be the right manager, put an arm around him and get the best out of Ferguson, because, like Paul's mentioned, still a top player in there for me. He's obviously had a difficult last 18 months or so, but I think if he was to leave Brighton, Everton could be a good landing spot for him, moving into that new stadium. There's a lot of optimism around the club right now, so if he was to leave Brighton, which isn't a certainty because there could be other striker departures at Brighton before him, I think be a good fit for everybody, for Everton and also for Evan Ferguson.